guys, and welcome to EV News Live by Tesla Red. So this will be our final episode of the year. And as mentioned last week, and you might have seen the X posts and posts elsewhere, we have a very special guest on this week, and that is Roscoe from Amazing EV. Hey Roscoe, how you doing?
Good, Jules. How's things? And Merry Christmas. So thanks for having me. Thank you.
No, fantastic to have you on. You're one of the leading, obviously, the leading EV marketplaces online, I believe, in Australia, and a great wealth of knowledge.
Absolutely, that's right.
Be good for all the viewers to be able to ask some questions about secondhand EVs and what the state of the market is.
That's right.
Hey, Kev, how you doing?
We really appreciate the opportunity to have a chat about used EVs because it's growing fast and it's becoming a big part of the used EV marketplace in the scene. So we're right in amongst of it with our used EV marketplace. So happy to chat to anybody about and take some questions and talk about some of the cars and things that we've got going here at the moment. So
perfect, yeah. So for those who haven't seen Ross's website, that's the Amazing EV website there. He's got a wide range of vehicles, not just Teslas or any other particular brand. There's some really fantastic vehicles there.
It's amazingev.com.au. So Amazing EV. So we started probably earlier this year, and we've been thinking about this for a while. I bought a used EV, Tesla, and I've had that for Tesla Model Y. I've had that for 2 years now. And when I bought it, I couldn't wait for the new ones to come. And they were, way back then, you had to order them and wait 2 or 3 months. So I bought one secondhand, and like everything, probably wasn't that happy with the experience of buying off an existing car dealership. I just sort of threw a couple of plastic cards and said, yeah, off you go. So I took a good leap of faith like everybody else and sort of started to talk to a few people about EVs and started to learn myself, and then started to help a few people through some existing clients with chargers and buying EVs, and then always went back to this used EV marketplace thing. And I thought, yeah, there's got to be a place for a dedicated used EV marketplace and somewhere that just EV owners and buyers and sellers can go and get the information that they need and see just a great selection of used EVs only. So, of course, it's growing fast and there's used EVs across a few different marketplaces, but we thought, well, by offering a dedicated used EV marketplace, you can rest assured that, particularly with the private sellers that we've got there, that everyone's been so fastidious for their first EV that they're going to be really well looked after. They're going to be in great condition. And that's what we found. We've got to meet some fantastic owners in the process. And only just this afternoon, I was out shooting, and part of what we do is just take a lot of photo and video to really try and promote the EVs as much as possible out there amongst social media that we've got for sale. And only this afternoon, I was meeting a guy and getting some shots of a smart #3. So already someone's got a smart #3 for sale. So it's great for me to see a fantastic range of EVs as well in the processes at the same time. So www.amazingev.com.au, and we've got the full selection there, information about how to list and the selection of cars that we've got for sale as well. So check that out.
Roscoe's also got a YouTube channel with some really nice videos on there. Yeah. I really enjoyed the Roadster one, which we'll see a little bit more about later on. But yeah, look, it's interesting to hear. How did you get into it? What made you choose EVs? What led you down the EV?
Yeah, like everyone, I wasn't a long time environmentalist or a long time EV converter or lead acid battery guy. I got into it a couple of years ago. I've been in the audiovisual business and doing audiovisual TVs and that sort of thing, home entertainment for people. And I just thought, like everything else is electric, right? I mean, it's the last bastion of machine or transport that's really just petrol, where you have to go and light a bit of fuel to make an engine turn. And I'm all about simplicity and the way things work, and everything else has got an electric motor everywhere you look. So it was stood to reason that cars were coming and cars were going to be more efficient, and electric motors made a hell of a lot more sense in my brain, and they still do. So some emotional reasons, some rational reasons, and you look across the Sydney skyline on a hot summer's day like today, where we're based in Sydney, and it's there's a bit of smog out there, and so obviously for some environmental reasons as well, it just makes a hell of a lot of sense. And I'm loving the simplicity of the electric motor. I'm loving the quietness. I'm loving all the things that make the EVs amazing. And after 2 years in, it seems like another first to me. And I'm going to tell you what's now that we don't carry hybrids, and I'm not a hybrid fan. And it's not something we're going to rest on or wave and be moved on. We're going to stay with just EVs. I think hybrids are a good solution, but it's not a solution that I would personally take. And it's not something that we want to continue to promote. So we always advocate someone just go straight out of petrol, straight into an EV. So it was an easy choice on a number of levels for me to get involved with EVs. And having looked back, I'd never go back to a petrol car now. Never. Never. So, how about you?
Yeah, similar. Like you say, I wasn't the environmental thing, and it's funny because you get these EV haters that the first thing they say is, "Oh, your car takes so much to environmental, cobalt and all this other garbage to make." Never mind the fact that the LFP batteries don't have any cobalt at all, and their petrol guzzlers need cobalt to produce every drop of petrol they burn. But anyway, I just I was curious about them. I used to see them around, and I think, I always thought that the Teslas, I used to see around in Canberra quite a bit, especially. I always thought they were $100,000, $200,000, and I was thinking, how are these people all affording these cars? I ran into a mate, one of the colleagues at work that had one. Started talking to him about it, and sort of learnt how they weren't that expensive to start with. But also he was a data guru, so he'd done all the maths and all the spreadsheets, and showed how much of a saving it actually was, which blew me away. So that was probably my first. That was probably about my first reason. I started looking into it more, so the safety of the Tesla and just how much safer it was than other vehicles. Decided to hire one for a week and drive up to Brisbane and back. That sold me. I mean, just that road trip experience in the EV was just so much better than ICE vehicles. I do that trip, 2 or 3 times a year sometimes. So, I've always done it in ICE vehicles previously, but have now done it 3 times in an EV and just absolutely loved it.
I know. I'd always advocate for anyone doing city to city, intercity transport. It's not a problem, but we won't get too buried in some of the things that we know and we share, and I'm sure the guys out there share as well about the obvious reasons for owning EVs, because they just make sense. And I'm the same with you. I probably spent half the amount on electricity from various sources, whether it's home charging, workshop charging, granny charging, or fast charging with DC charging. I've probably spent half on fuel per se over the last 2 years than I would have in petrol. A simple number across a range of different charging sources. So just no doubt about it. And I don't think I've touched a Tesla in terms of servicing. I've changed the filters and changed the tires and nothing else. So fantastic experience all around. So we're seeing a lot of fantastic cars coming onto the EV market as well, and that's the thing. It's a great place to be. And we get that there's been some depreciation. There's no doubt about that, and we feel for the people that have taken a bit of a hit. But in terms of anyone buying or coming into the market now, they're really hitting that sweet spot, sort of between $25,000 and $35,000, where we really think used cars make sense to people. Otherwise, they might stretch a bit more and go new, right? So we're really seeing some, and I've got a couple on the site now that are sort of coming into that 35 bracket. The 2019 Tesla Model 3s, the US built ones, are getting into that 30, 35 range. Some have done 80, 90,000 Ks, but I've also done a bit of research in my next video. If you please check it out and have a look and subscribe, should be up in a couple of days. I've done a comparison across 3 different cars, a Camry hybrid and a Mercedes C-Class, all from 2019, all done 80 or 90,000 Ks, and they're all within $5,000 of each other. So there's no justification that used EVs of the same year are any more or less, any more expensive, that's for sure, than petrol cars. And certainly the depreciation on the Mercedes is comparable to the Model 3. So all different types of cars and different type, appealing to different types of people. But EVs are coming to their own in the secondhand market as well. So,
all right, we might just quickly just go through the chat here and just say good day to everyone who's come in there. We've got Hell, always a good viewer, a regular viewer. Thanks, mate, for joining in. Kev, yeah, Adelaide 35. Yeah, it's been hot here in Canberra too. I think everyone's suffering at the moment. Hey, Kylie, how you doing up there in Mackay? Darren down in Melbourne, 29. And Mrs. Amazing, hey, how you going? Thanks for lending us your husband for the night.
Some real hardcore supporters, yeah, and Barrett the cat as well. So.
And hell there, right? If you've got questions as we go along, please feel free to post them in the chat. We'll catch up with them as we can. But we'll get through this. We'll go back to the slides here, just going through some of the stuff on the Amazing EV site and talk about some of the features and things to consider when buying secondhand cars. I know one of the big questions will be batteries.
Oh, no. Sorry to interrupt. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say one of the big questions will be batteries. So I'm interested to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, we really, it's been one of the things that's come up time and time again. And so we've actively been looking for someone since we started earlier in the year to try and offer a service of EV battery checking, right? We were also at the EV show recently in Sydney, which is a huge success. Some of you may have had the chance to go, but same sort of question coming up. If I'm going to look for a used EV, how do I know that the battery is going to be okay, right? And you and I know, and most people perhaps who know EVs know that batteries aren't the issue that they might have been earlier, maybe 7 or 8 years ago. There's just very, very few things go wrong. And we do recognize that, but we certainly think that it would be a great idea for sellers and particularly to create some sort of a battery health certificate or offer something with a car for sale, which I think would add to the value of the car and give the buyer certainly some more satisfaction and confidence that what they're buying is okay. The most expensive part of the car is okay. And so we've partnered, well, I guess, first of all, going back one step, I started to do some research and talk to a couple of people, and there's a lot of progress being made in Europe particularly, and a couple of those companies are out here at the moment, and I won't mention other names at the moment, but we did get an opportunity to talk to these guys more recently. And it's a company that's launched they've launched a site where you can actually test, and it's Tesla's only at the moment, unfortunately, but they've got the access to the software. And so with your cooperation as a Tesla owner, by paying a small fee, and it's about £40 at the moment, which, $60 odd. It's a UK based company, but they can do it remotely, and they can do an over the air battery test to give you the full battery health and via the actual Tesla app. So you sort of cooperate with them at this end. You give them access to the app. If you're comfortable doing that, pay a small fee, and they'll give you a comprehensive battery health check report about the state of the battery, and they can do that through an over-the-air test. So we thought that was a good idea, at least starting with Teslas. And I know there's a lot of diagnostic tools that other brands use. Nissan Leafs have got a little app, I think, and other bits and pieces you can do with the OBDs, the onboard diagnostics. But at least Tesla now, through this company, and it's called WeLoveBatteries.com, and you can go there. Again, it's part of an affiliated group in the UK that are also offering battery warranties as well. So next stage, if you'd imagine that if once the battery warranty runs out from the manufacturer, you can also actually buy an extended warranty if you want to add to extra confidence. But I mean, one of the other highlights of EVs is that the battery warranties are growing and growing, and the problems are dropping and dropping. But certainly as an EV marketplace, we encourage anyone who's selling an EV to have a look at this. And if you want to try it out on your own Tesla, give it a go yourself, because we've done it ours, and it just gave us the confidence that after 2 years there was no problems with the battery at all. And I know this can also be done through Tesla, and there's a couple of other ways to do it as well. But something that we found that was really easy, and you can do it in the comfort of your own garage, right? So that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah, good comment there from Hell, talking about HEVs and plug-in hybrids. Doing more cycles, plug out much quicker than an EV. That's very true. The hybrid made sense before Tesla really proved that the BEV was a viable option. Unfortunately, they're being pushed now just to keep that whole dealership servicing regime operating, I think.
Yeah, we think the same. And everyone's probably heard the analogy that hybrids are like vaping, right? It's just it's a stopgap solution to it, but it's not solving a problem. It's just solving one problem with another problem. And yeah, going back to my thoughts on the way EVs are manufactured and the way they work and what they do, probably similar to you, Jules. They're just more complexity, 2 motors instead of 1, still putting out fumes, and no one's going to use them as intended and charge them up at home and run them off on the electric motor for 80 or 90 k's. They're just going to get in and drive them. That's my feeling. So yeah, we're not going to have hybrids on the Amazing EV website. So
yeah, I think it's just the added complexity, the worst of both worlds, really. So
yeah.
But another question here from Kylie: when do you recommend getting a battery health test? Her Tesla is 2 years old. Should you wait a few more years? You have got the 8-year warranty, but
that's right, and it was curiosity for me at the moment. And as an owner, I was comfortable. The Model Y that we've got was fine, right? But some of the other data, that we've seen also is it's natural degradation of batteries for Teslas, because they've been in the States and they've been running fleets of these things and testing them 7 or 8 years now. It's a couple of percent, 2 or 3% in the first year. They take a bit of a hit, and then on average about 1% every year after that. So yeah, typical average battery loss on the Teslas that they've been looking at through some older battery technology anyway have been probably 12% over 10 years, right? So maybe 85, 88, something like that. And as we all know, it's not affecting the speed of the car. It's just affecting the capacity of the battery. It's just a lesser amount it can take on board after 10 years. So do it as something that makes you feel just a bit, gives you a bit of comfort. Or I would perhaps, as I said, suggest it's something that's really important for someone going to sell their car. Just to give you a bit of peace of mind in the meantime, or something that's would be really important to a buyer if you were selling a car as well. So
certainly, all the studies I've seen and the information I've seen definitely correlates what you're saying there. That the curve of the degradation is, it starts off a little bit steep, but then it just kind of levels off. And look, from everything I've seen, you can expect 20 years out of the modern good quality EV batteries these days, which is more than you get out of most ICE engines.
Yeah,
and
I got a good news EV story came up on my feed today, and that was that EV batteries lasting longer than they expected.
Yes.
It's a good news EV story that comes up on your feed. It's not very often. So,
but look, the price is coming down. I think by the time anyone who's got a vehicle in the last 3 years, by the time they have to think about replacing a battery if they're keeping their vehicle that long, it'll be cheaper than getting a refurbished engine or anything like that. It'll be and there's also battery repair places starting to come up and just do I've seen repairs of Model S batteries, some of the really early ones, for less than $1,000. So just replacing individual cells and that kind of stuff. So there's all sorts of ways around it. See who else we've got here. Hey, Sensei, I'll have to do that later on, mate. I'm just haven't got the screen open at the moment. All right. So we've got another screen here from your website talking about EV myths. Obviously, you do a lot of videos and things like that and blogs on EV myths. There's plenty of them around to debunk.
It starts, I've just got a bit of background noise. My apologies.
You're right.
It's getting into that myth section that and again, it took a video of at least 10 myths, and I probably could do a lot more of battery life and battery problems and battery fires fell into a lot of those myths. I guess it's one of those things that I don't think it'll be the problem that people have raised over the years, and it's just one of those scare factors and scare tactics that keeps getting put out there. Again, I've had people say to me, just in casual conversation, well, we didn't buy an EV, and I said, well, we just bought a new car and what have you. But asked, why they had to buy a new car. Well, it was a Volkswagen. I don't care what brand it is. It doesn't matter. It could be any car. But the gearbox went at 100,000 Ks. And so it was 8 or 9,000, 10,000 to replace it. So the same logic that led him to buy a new car because his gearbox failed led him to also not consider an EV because batteries might fail as well. So, yeah, that's okay. I think it'll filter out of the system. It's one of the many myths that'll filter out of the system. So, yeah.
Sure. So we've got a the next page here with your different options for selling vehicles on the site. The 3 different packages.
Yeah, if you hit the sell button on the site, you go to a section that describes 3 broad packages, and $99 is the standard package to list on the website at the moment. And for that, you'll get a listing in 3 months is 90 days. And look, we're reasonably flexible. We know it's taking a little bit longer to sell EVs at the moment. So it's a 90-day listing. And the thing that we're trying to do is really promote EVs a lot more via social media and the YouTube channel as well. And so if you list with us at $199, we'll usually work with you or take some photos, get some more professional looking photos and work with you to do that. And also get a bit of video and make a video and do a bit more of a feature so that we can put it out there and actually, instead of statically listing it on the website, get it out there amongst social media and start promoting it. And then for club members of various clubs that just want a more basic package or have a cheaper car, we thought we'd offer something a little bit cheaper. So if you've got something there that without the bells and whistles, we can do that as well. So we wanted to make sure we're offering club members around Australia something to make sure that we could really help them out as well. We see the club members across the variety of clubs on Facebook and Tesla Owners Club and what have you as really important to the growth and the community that we're trying to build as well.
Excellent. All right. So I think we've got some vehicles to go through and have a look at. Some of your current vehicles on the site. The first one here is the Silver Beauty Tesla Model 3.
Yeah, this one, again, is representative of a car that it's just really good value. I mean, it's been one owner, really well looked after, nice, not that old, and plenty of life. Sorry,
only a couple of years old, yeah.
Yeah, and one owner, and it hasn't, it really has been a car that hasn't been used that much. And so, yeah, we're really starting to see some good value in this particular area. And there's a few out there. And again, what we're trying to do is make sure that we're working with people that we know and we've seen the cars and are really good condition and really well looked after as well. So,
yeah, the next one here is a black Tesla Model 3 2019 for $35,500. That's a very good price.
And that's the US built one. Again, getting down to that 35, probably owner might accept a little bit less. Again, beautifully looked after, had seat covers inside it when we saw it, and you might remember the silver features on those early ones. Yeah, this was a US built one, and by the time I think we got the US built ones, they ironed out any issues. And again, plenty of life left in this car, and again, getting down to that range where it's comparable with any other used car or used sedan, same age, same mileage. So fantastic opportunity. Again, I met the owner of this one. We took some photos and worked with her. And so just to try and promote the car, and that's one of our things is better photos. We think in a market where there's a few cars around, where they're starting to get a few Tesla Model 3s around, take a bit more time to get some good photos. And again, we're happy to help do that if we can come to you or get to you or talk to you about that and get a bit of video and really try and promote these cars with some really nice photos and just showing it in its best light.
That's one of the great things about Tesla too. The car I hired was a similar one to this one. It was a 2019 Fremont built, but with the software updates, there's really not that much difference between that car and my 2024 Highland. I mean, there's a few changes with the Highland, but these cars hold their relevance for so long because they don't operate like other legacy makers. They don't make a new car every year. It's just all the software keeps getting updated and the car keeps getting better and better.
One of the features of that car is the owner had installed the tilting screen, which is
Oh, yeah.
something as the side-to-side tilting screen. There's an aftermarket kit you can get, and it's one of those things I didn't think I'd need or like until I saw it, and then I thought it was a really good idea because it just tilts the screen enough sideways to you, and then the passenger can use it when there's no one there for the media or the movies and watch whatever they like. But it's one of those things that's worth considering, and she'd had that done. And I myself, I really like the silver trim. On
Yeah.
the black car, it looks fantastic. I think it looks fantastic. Sure, they changed to black. I think Sandy Munro from the Munro Associates, I think he's credited for telling Elon Musk ditch the chrome, right? But who really knows? But on that black car, that chrome looks really good, I think, and
It does. It does look good.
makes a big difference, yeah, on the black one. And there's not many black ones around, so yeah. Again, that's a pretty unique car.
This next one looks like it's the dual motor long range red one. That's got a bit of a spoiler, a bit of body kit on it.
Yeah, that's a special one. This guy, we did a feature on that on YouTube, and we had that at the EV show as well. And we almost got it sold, and we're pretty close to a deal on that one. But this guy threw everything at this one. This is it, yeah. Your boy racer, real. I mean, it's got to the stage where when you saw it in the flesh, it almost didn't even look like a Model 3 anymore. That's the amount of the extent of the body kit just meant that it just almost seemed to change the shape. And he's put BMW M3 wheels on it, which fit straight on, 19-inch BMW M3 wheels and some different tires, and it still drove really well. And that body kit's, the full carbon fiber body kits. Again, it's from an aftermarket company, which again, throwing a lot of money at this car, and full tinting, full light tinting, full trim, bits and pieces, carbon inserts on the interior as well. So if you're considering doing that, that's quite easy. You can do that yourself. If you don't like the wood grain.
For 2023 model for 56,000, that's not too bad actually.
Yeah, no, it's an excellent price because he'd done about 28,000, and yeah, let's just say that he's no longer married, and you can't cut the car in half. So
fair enough.
If you're looking for a reason as to why, that's without going too much into his personal details.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I can't remember if you got a dual motor, Jules, or not?
No, mine's just a rear-wheel drive.
Yeah. But this would be as good as I don't know. The performance has got it right for sure over everything else, but with dual motor and the longer range battery, I think the only difference, or maybe one of the motors has got more power. Someone can pull me up on that, and the performance has got a smaller battery. But with the dual motor and the long range battery, you've got the best of both worlds, and it's got enough power for anything, anywhere, anytime. It's very, very sharp on the road.
Yeah, I mean the long range has enough power to start with, but you've also got performance boosts, which we've got some news coming up on that one shortly after this segment.
Yeah,
but
that was. I mean, I would strongly consider a long range dual motor before spending the extra money on the performance. I reckon that was enough for me. Put it that way.
So switching gears a bit, we've got this Honda S800 EV conversion.
Yeah, we're really trying to work with the EV community and the conversion community as well. And there's a couple on the site at the moment, an old VW station wagon that's been converted. And this was a project it came out of Brisbane. I think most of you might know the guy up there, and his name escapes me, which is a shame at the moment. But there's only one guy that can do this, and it was built by him, and they did the full restoration. And the owner has decided, like everything, change of circumstances, she's decided she wants to sell this, and she's put well over $100,000 into this car for not just an EV conversion, but a full body restoration on this car. It is a beautiful little car, and so Oz EVs is the name of the company that did it in Brisbane. They do a lot of conversions, a lot of iMIAVs, all sorts of things. And so there's a video on this one as well, and a big story. So this one I hope will find a lovely new owner, because she's giving it away at 75, which I know it seems like a lot, but has spent well over 100 restoring this and EV converting it as well. It is a beautiful little car.
What a great way to bring the life to a old classic. So we get some other sort of look at some of the variety. We've got some Polestar 2 here, mid-year 23, 53,000.
First EV I ever drove, Polestar 2. We looked at a couple. I mean, you talk about the number of EVs that are available now or coming. It's going to be well over 100, very, very soon in terms of models and brands. And 3 years ago, sure, there was Nissan Leaf, and my apologies, we did not consider buying a Nissan Leaf when we first started our search for an EV. It was an Atto 3, and it was a Polestar 2 and a Tesla at the time. So we chose the Tesla, but Polestar 2 was the first one I drove. And going, I'm going to lose. I got a bit of background noise, so if it's coming through, my apologies. So Polestar 2 was the first one that we ever drove, and getting back into it to photograph this car and list it, it just reminded me how impressive it was. And only again a year old, and this is 20,000 less than new at sort of 50, 52, 53. So yeah, really impressed still with the Polestar.
Yeah, nice looking cars, sure. Okay, one of my favorites, the Tesla Roadster.
Yeah,
so if you guys check out Roscoe's channel, you'll see a good
story
video
behind this one. Sorry, I'm talking over.
You're right.
Great story behind this one. Yeah, we were lucky enough to meet the owner of this one, who is actually a Tesla employee and one of the longest standing Tesla employees in Australia. And I know it's a lot of money, and I don't know if it's worth it, to be honest, but I'm not sure how keen he is to sell it really. But look, there's only, as we discovered, less than 3,000 worldwide now, and only 22 or 23 came to Australia in the end. But it took us down a great voyage of discovery about the original Roadster, because we met Simon Hackett, who was the guy that brought out the very, very, very first Tesla way back in 2009. He imported a left-hand drive one, went over there and bought it, and they delivered it here and promoted it and owned it. And then finally, when they started right-hand deliveries, he owned one, and then he owned the very last one as well that they sold here in Australia. And so this one was actually came via Japan and was a right-hand drive and has been fully restored. So it's been a couple of places around the world, but it allowed me to go back and really find out the story of an incredible car, which is really interesting. And I get the same. This one's been a Tesla owner's project car for 10 years now. So really fantastic. And then seeing it in the flesh, it is a remarkable car. We're lucky enough to get it on display at the EV show here in Sydney as well, which really allowed the half of Sydney to see it as well.
Yeah, look, it's a piece of history, that's for sure. So it's not cheap, but no. You can't put a price on that sort of history.
It's a living classic EV already. As I say, with 21 or 22 maybe on the road in Australia, that's all. So it's an EV classic already.
And like I said, definitely recommend that story. Simon's story and of ownership and then the early days and that kind of stuff. Definitely worth watching. So I definitely recommend check that out.
Yeah, that's on the YouTube channel as well. And Simon's a fantastic guy and has been a long-standing promoter of a supporter of Teslas and EVs and everything electric. So his story in itself. He had the internet IP company. Internode, I think it was called, way back in the day, yeah. And so luckily sold out of that. But yeah, I think his next best investment was buying Tesla shares very, very early on. So
nice. Kylie's commented here, she loves that color. Kylie's got a Model 3 with a wrap, similar color, and it looks really stunning as well.
So the name is the Tesla name is, and I found a catalog. If you Google it, you can buy old catalogs on eBay, and I found a picture of one, and it's called Very Orange. That's the Tesla name, Very Orange.
It definitely is, isn't it? All right, so I'm going to go through some of the news bits. If you want to hang around, up to you. If you've got to go, or that's fine.
No, I really appreciate the opportunity. Thanks. If there's any questions anyone's got, happy to take those for a minute or so if you like. So
pop the questions in the chat if you've got anything else you want to ask Roscoe.
Otherwise, check us out at amazingev.com.au. If you know anyone who's looking to buy an EV, we're more than happy. If we don't have it listed, we're happy to help them make a decision or chat about what's available and what's out there, whether it's on our site or not. We keep a good eye on everything that's for sale and what's going. Valuations, there's tools out there to get dynamic valuations as well through some of the affiliates, and we're also got arrangements for finance as well. So we're trying to create a complete package and community for EV buyers and sellers. So if you know anyone, we'll go the extra mile to make sure they get a result. But otherwise, we'll sign off and just wishing everybody a great holiday festive season. And really thanks for the opportunity, Jules. It's good to be here. Hopefully you can come back sometime.
Yeah, just before you go, I've got one question here from Hal saying, how do you set the price? I'm assuming it's more sort of negotiation with the seller.
Yeah, we let the seller lead, and obviously they've got some expectations based on what they want. Then we do a quick look at generally through, there's a couple of sites. And again, there's a site that we use called Value My Car. And again, you can put you can put your VIN or rego in. That's powered by AutoGrab. And AutoGrab are a company that skims all the marketplaces and all the sales and all the listings for dynamic data on. And I know there was the Red Book, and back in the day there was other various price guides, but these guys are supplying the data to the used car industry body as well for their monthly and annual reports. And that's all broken down by segment and in terms of type of car, not just EVs, but all used cars. And, to give you some idea, that the market is 2.1 million used cars, probably about each year, roughly, say 2 million versus a 1 million new car market. And that's anything older than or younger than 15 years old. So just to give you an idea, EVs are less than 1% of that market at the moment. So that as we know, new EVs are hovering around 6 or 7 or 8%, up and down a bit this year. So there's still a long way for used EVs to catch up before they actually get representative in the used market as well. But AutoGrab are collecting that data now. That's being reflected on a retail basis through that website, valuemycar.com.au, I think. And you can put your details in. It'll show you other listings comparable and more recent sales as well. So a collaborative approach between some data of what's actually out there and also some customer and seller expectations.
Excellent. Well, thanks very much for your time, Roscoe. If Mrs. Amazing's still there, if you pop the website address in the chat as well as your YouTube link, definitely some great videos to check out. And like I said, definitely recommend some of those videos, particularly the roaster one.
Thank you. Yeah, check at Amazing EV is the YouTube channel, and check it out and please subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,000. Yes. We're trying to get to 1,000 as well.
Please do subscribe to Roscoe. It's well worth it. He's got some great content.
Thanks, Jules. All the best.
All right.
Night.
All right, so we'll keep going through some of the news for the last few days. I've got a few slides here. Sorry, I did see John Myers there had a question regarding the Christmas update. No, unfortunately, we haven't seen the Christmas update on any Australian vehicles yet. There's been a couple of vehicles that are reported as Australia, but it's doubtful they are actually Australian vehicles. At best, they may be test vehicles, but that's probably doubtful as well. It's more likely someone with a misreported location. I guess, silver lining or the hope is that the reason we haven't got them yet is because the countries that have got it first were the ones with very limited actual smart summon capabilities or due to regulations. So we're hoping that the reason we're waiting, and China's just getting it now or in the process of getting it, they've got more relaxed smart summon regulations as well. So we may get that proper smart summon, so that might be why it's being held up. But definitely keeping an eye out for it, and we'll let you know. Thanks, Mrs. Amazing. Thanks for being in the chat there as well, and have a great Christmas, both of you. All right, so a bit of news that came from Electric Kev. The acceleration boost for the long-range Highland Model 3 is now out. He's a little quick video showing showing it. I'll play that.
The day has finally arrived. The Tesla Model 3 long-range refresh has finally received the acceleration boost, available here in Australia for $3,000, reducing the acceleration 0 to 100 kilometers per hour from 4.4 to 3.8 seconds. Please subscribe for more to stay up to date.
So Electric Kev's got his own YouTube channel as well. But thanks for that, Kev. He has a long range, so he's obviously just purchased the acceleration boost, I see. Fantastic job. Unfortunately, my car can't get it, but it is certainly a big improvement in the acceleration if you're looking for a little bit more performance in the long range new Model 3. Another bit of news, the Cybertruck has actually been approved in China. This came as a bit of a surprise because everyone was expecting it to take a bit longer. China's got some fairly strict regulations for trucks and large vehicles. So it's surprising that they approved the Cybertruck so quickly. No indication when and if it'll start selling there, but it's actually cleared the way for the regulatory side of things anyway. And may be a good sign for other countries as well. So some good news there for Cybertruck lovers. But it looks like it may be coming to China at some point. Not so much car related, but still Tesla related. They've had their Optimus robot unleashed and walking around uneven terrain, up hills, down hills. Now, they've actually got it doing this blindfolded, so they've actually disabled the cameras and having it walking on uneven terrain to see how it reacts and how it can negotiate. This is kind of a funny clip here, walking down. Very human-like, does a little slip, and that amazing recovery there for a robot that can't see as well, but that was pretty impressive. The Optimus bot is a very impressive piece of technology and keeps impressing. Now, some of you might remember I talked about this GridServe. It's a UK charging hub operator. Would have been a couple of months ago now, sort of highlighting some of the ways they do their EV charging, particularly as forecourt ones where they've got gyms, they've got restaurants, they've got cafes, they've got working spaces, they've got car showrooms, everything you can imagine. The good news is that they've now started international expansion, and with a partnership with the local energy retailer Flow Power, they're coming to Australia. So I don't know in what capacity or in if they're going to have these big ones or just a smaller sort of version of it. But this is a fantastic way of really taking advantage of EV charging and really providing those value add services that will earn them money as well. So I really hope this does take off in Australia and we have some more competition other than just the Tesla supercharging network. So this could be a really big thing for Australia. No timing or anything like that I've seen yet, but it's definitely a good step forward. Sorry, my slides are playing up. So more charging news. BP sent out some information about charging sites. New charging sites. They talked about first BP Pulse site in Tasmania. I know we've got a couple of Tasmanian viewers that are always a little bit annoyed at the lack of Tasmanian EV charging infrastructure. So there's at least one coming at the BP Pulse Moona, first ACT site as well, and a couple more in Victoria, but with both eight charging points, which is good to see. I think most of them are 2s and 3s. It's good to see a larger site from BP. So hopefully they'll keep expanding them and getting some bigger sites, especially on the busier corridors. So again, eight points with charging speeds up to 300 kilowatts. That's exactly what you need. So they also say more in New South Wales, but don't list anything in that email. And more big good news for Newcastle. I know they've been hanging out for a Tesla presence. So it looks like at least there's going to be a new showroom opening up in Newcastle. Whether that will have some sort of servicing as well, that would be definitely good for that area. But definitely things happening. And we also saw, thanks to Chuck on the TMC forums, picked up as an advertisement for a store manager also in Mooloolaba in Queensland. So the Sunshine Coast will be getting at least a showroom as well. Whether they get a servicing centre or something like that as well, that might be very good news. As far as the sales figures go, sorry, just saw that from, I know a lot of people in that area are definitely hanging out for that sort of a site in Newcastle area, so that'll definitely be good, especially if they're able to provide some sort of service from that area, that site as well. So looking at the final weeks of sales figures, Tesla are already at 601,000 insured units in China with 3 weeks to go. So the total for the entire year last year was 610. You can see there it was 557 at this time last year. So at least in China, we're looking good. I know Europe is definitely down. So it's going to be interesting to see how it pans out for the year. I mean, Tesla was always predicting this year to be between two sort of growth phases. So even if they can match last year's figures, that will definitely be still positive given the global economic conditions. Next year with a new Model Y, potentially more new models and improving interest rates, I really think it's going to be a very good growth year next year. So definitely don't see any negatives in that. But I would like to see us at least match last year's figures for the worldwide sales. Okay, so a lot of rumours talking about new models through the last week or two. So this one is just a mock-up. Again, I will stress that is not, there's no certainty that is any sort of vehicle that we'll see. It's a mock-up, some pure speculation based on the reports that are swirling around. It came from a Deutsche Bank article, I believe. But and they're saying that there will be a Model Q release next year. Now, I've heard reports that the Model Q part was a mistranslation of that document. So we don't know what it'll be called. There certainly are indications there may be a new vehicle. If it's an affordable vehicle, I don't think it'll look quite like that. So yeah, look, it could be a version of a Cybercab with 4 seats, possibly a 2-door hatch or something like that. There's another mock-up here of a 2-door hatch type vehicle, and someone's got this mock-up here, which I think is extremely fanciful for a low-cost car. That doesn't look like that would fit that bill at all. So there's definitely a lot of speculation out there. I do think we'll see something other than just the Cybercab, but there's certainly a lot of hints out there that something will come. But what it looks like and what area it falls into, it definitely sounds like it'll be a low cost vehicle, and a 4-seat version of a Cybercab kind of makes sense as far as for scaling and that kind of stuff. If they're able to sort of swing that, or a hatchback type thing. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I think next year is going to be very interesting. Yeah, Tesla Q is kind of the nickname for the short sellers. Q is the addition that goes into a stock when it goes bankrupt. I don't think Tesla's any danger of that, given their cash reserves and the way they're going as far as profits. But there's certainly a large shorter community out there that would make you believe, or we have been saying for years now, that Tesla is just on the verge of going bankrupt. So that's it for. Hang on, I've got some other question here. Sorry, I'm not sure what that relates to, Hal. Oh, so you're talking about sales, I'm guessing? Yeah, so China's definitely way up. So we'll see how it pans out. Like I said, this year's always been, forecast as a year between two growth periods. They weren't expecting much growth. So yeah, wait and see. So that's all the slides I've got for this week. If anyone's got any questions or anything like that, throw them in the chat. Any questions, comments, or anything else? Definitely check out Electric Kev's channel. Thanks for that little video, Kev. And I hope you enjoy your acceleration boost responsibly, of course, like we all do. Definitely is very tempting at the lights with these Tesla vehicles. The power is quite great. No worries, Kevin. Thanks for the support. You've been a member since the start. Actually, I just noticed it's almost 6 months now. So thank you very much for the support. Really appreciate it. If there's no other questions, look, I hope everyone has a fantastic Christmas. We'll be back in the new year at some point. I'll put out some notices and stuff on the various social media platforms, and I'll update the coming soon on the YouTube channel. So keep the subscriptions active and keep an eye out for that. Please do give us a like if you don't mind, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Really appreciate it. And everyone be safe over the break. Thanks, guys. I hope you enjoyed that chat with Roscoe. See you next year.